We really need to start having more honest conversations about privileged motherhood. Because when I first
So much like this creator that stitched the original creator's video, I was a bit taken aback when she said what she said about motherhood. But then, I guess after thinking about it and just taking it in general, I agree with this creator that I just stitched, which is Consciously Lisa. I agree with her take on it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I, as well as my children, have always had a village. I'm married, and although he hasn't always been my husband for this motherhood journey, he's always been a presence. The first 3 years were kind of rocky, but that's another topic for another video. With my firstborn, I had my mom, my family, and my family friends who I considered family, like they're my sisters. Physically, it wasn't hard on me. I was 20 years old. I was barely, I guess, legal adult. I was actually 19 when I got pregnant. I was 20 when I had my son. So I was super young. But so physically the pregnancy didn't take a toll on me, but mentally it was a lot. But I knew one thing at the time, like as far as my basic needs being met, that's not something I had to worry about. I had somewhere to live. I had food, I had clothes on my back, I had electricity. I was able to not wonder about the next time I had to take a shower, the next time I was going to eat, things like that. I lived with my mom, and my baby daddy, now husband, was around. So everything I had to support. When I gave birth, I had my mom, my grandma, again, my best friends who I now consider my sisters. Like I had people around me. When I gave birth, my husband was in the room and my mom was in the room. So I had to support. And then my stepdad was right outside the door because I only wanted those two to be in the room. But when I got home, I had like a supportive village. I had everyone. I'm Haitian. So, after you have a baby, Haitians, if you know, you know. I know we're not a monolith, but I know a lot of you might know what I'm talking about. I was only able to eat certain foods, drink certain things, move around certain ways, certain routines were done after a couple of days of me having my baby. So if you know, you know if you're Haitian. So I had the support, I had the village. Now, with my second born, my husband and I were married at the time. So our relationship was more solidified. We were in a better place with our relationship. We actually knew each other prior. I mean, besides like when I was pregnant with my son, we barely knew each other. So that pregnancy, I had the support. I had family. I had a husband. When I gave birth to my daughter, unfortunately, my mom wasn't there. My mom and my grandma wasn't there because they were on a mission trip in Haiti. So, and they felt like at that point, because I had a husband, I would be okay. So I was a little sad when I had my daughter, but when I had my daughter, I had my husband, I had my father-in-law, I had my best friend who actually stepped in and did the motherly role for me, the things that my mom and my grandma did for me when I had my son. They were there. So I was never not having a support system during my pregnancy, during childbirth, and right after childbirth. Point of the matter, during both of those, the beginning of those journeys and those journeys in general, I've never had to parent alone. And that in itself is a privilege when actually that's a necessity. Now, because of that, and actually being a parent now, being 18 years in, officially a couple of weeks ago, I tend to offer grace because knowing what I know, going through what I went through, when it comes to parenting, I offer grace. I think I mentioned this in another video too. And not to say that I still don't side eye some ish when I see it, or I still don't feel some type of when I see certain things when it comes to parenting. But a lot of the times I do have to remember that I'm looking from a place of privilege, especially when it comes to like, I feel like because I'm 18 years in, um, when it came to my son, when it came to parenting him, if I was parenting my son as a single mom, I feel like a lot of the things, the way I've responded and the way I would have handled them would have been a lot different than the way I've done it now because I've had a different perspective of what the how he views the world, what the world looks like to him. Because I'm a woman and he's a man. Again, so a lot of things that I know that I probably would have done differently had it just been me. I am grateful and appreciative of that. It's not just me, that he has a father. He has certain things that I may not understand, or I may not understand from his view of it. He has that in someone else. But again, the same thing can be said that he's not just being raised by his father. He's given a different perspective by me. And then there are some times where me and his dad can't offer a perspective, and that's why he has a village. He's able to call up, or both of my kids are able to call up other people besides just their parents. They're able to call up grandma, they're able to call godmothers, they're able to call uncles, cousins. Like, there's a whole village. And basically, when you don't have that village and you're going through something and you're doing something like parenthood, or you just living, because people, let's be honest, people need villages. But when you're talking about having to take responsibility and raising someone and presenting and basically putting them into the world and getting them ready for the world, you need help. You can't do it by yourself. You shouldn't,